Raindrop, hot top, fucking up in the hot bar. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, looking up in the crock pot.
Hello everyone, welcome to my Hot Wheels Redline collection. So I thought I would add on to the Sky shows and kind of a little bit of how they became. So in 1968, when they first started building the Hot Wheels, making Hot Wheels, two of the cars, one being a Fleetside and one being called a Deora, were made. And in 1970, Mattel decided to make a toy car that a kid could use in two ways. You could use the car to go down the racetrack. You could play with the airplane that came with them on the Sky shows, or you could just play with the airplane. So this car is a Deora, and this would have been from the first year, 1968. From the blue tinted glass, you could tell that this guy was made in Hong Kong. It's got a pretty good tail. It came with surfboards. And the surfboards were just supposed to give the kids a little bit of imagination. So you kind of had a 2-for-1, just like the Sky Show airplane set. So as you can see, this one is in really good shape. It's got really good surfboards. And then when they made this one, you can clearly see that it's the Deora, but it didn't have a lifting lid on the back. And we'll kind of talk about that in a minute. But this car with the clear glass shows that it was made in the USA. Nope, this one was actually made in Hong Kong and has clear glass. And you could tell it's made in Hong Kong because of the 4 squares on it. That was one of the things that differentiated between American made and Hong Kong made. But this car, to me, is in really good shape. Then, when they used the 68 car, it looked like an El Camino, would have been called a Fleetside. And this Fleetside, to me, is in really good shape. Blue glass. Got the 4 squares on the bottom that show that it was a Hong Kong made car. Fairly good tail lights, and it had a lifting lid for the trunk or for the cover, like a tonneau cover. This car, I don't know, I think this car is absolutely beautiful. And then this was the prototype of the Fleetside. So you can see the rivets have never been touched. Never painted. And this would have been what would have been turned into the bosses after the engineers or whoever the designer was made this car and set it up in the mold. So I've had this one for quite a few years, but I think it's a really good example of how Mattel designed and built their cars. So you had the prototype, then you had the finished version in 68, and then in 1970, they did this guy in the Fleetside. So you can see it still has the same engine, way that the front was done, with the 2 holes instead of the 4 squares. This was a US made car. And then you can see where the top of the pop rivets from the prototype, how they've been pushed down so that the base of the car sticks with the body. And then with these two cars came a decal sheet. I don't know how good this is going to work, but you had water slides that you could put on your airplanes, and you could also put these guys, these smaller ones, you could put them on your Fleetside or your Deora body. So it was kind of a way of opening up the kids' imaginations and allowing them to decorate the car to their desire, or not decorate them like the examples that I have here. So I don't know a lot of collectors that have all of this for the Sky Shows, but I actually have a couple sets. The boxes has the track and the chutes and all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty cool setup. Once again, if you made it this far, please like and subscribe. I don't know if that hurts the algorithm on YouTube, but I would like to try to see if I could get this account built up and try to share my cars with more people. Thanks for watching, everybody.